In this video, I wanted to run through some of the top additions to Red Dead Online as suggested by everyone in the comment section of my last video on this subject. As I said in that last video, these aren't massive additions to the game like wagons and casinos, just minor tweaks that make the game more playable and enjoyable. Quality of life updates basically. Now forgive me if I butcher some of these names, but let's start off with Biff Del Monte. He wrote that he'd like to have the ability to spawn into free roam at your campsite. Now this would be so useful. Say you wanted to log on to do some cooking or crafting, or you're about to go hunting or fighting and want to pick up some pre-ordered ammo from your lockbox. Spawning into the game and being right in your camp would be so convenient. I think Rockstar could easily implement it on the home screen as well, just sticking it after the main free roam session button before the state-specific free roam buttons. But to be fair, they could just make it so that every time you hit free roam, you automatically spawn into your camp anyway, which would be a lot easier. I imagine people would probably rather spawn randomly on the map but be in their camp at the same time anyway, so this might just work as a replacement for the free roam button, or an addition to the free roam button even. Great suggestion, so thanks for that. Just below this comment, Christina Joe suggested being able to pick up the location of your camp in general from a list of available camp spots. The first thing I'm thinking here is how useful this would be for hunting. Having a fire right where you're getting your herbs and meat would be really useful. Amaran suggested something that was similar to my sell all button at the butcher, and it's a craft all shortkey, which I suppose would be like a cook all button as well. Now I do love this idea, but I think it just opens people up to playing AFK really, and it's never really been something that Rockstar has supported. But then again, you can auto ride to places, so I don't see why this would be really that much different. Love the idea, Amaran, thanks for that. Mohammed and Verdius have suggested that we should be able to carry on holding carcasses after we've skinned or plucked them, rather than just automatically throwing it on the floor. Sometimes you just want to stow the carcass, and having it in your hands then chucking it on the floor and having to pick it up for a second time, it's just a bit annoying. The Phenom, I think that's how you say it, has suggested we should be able to build campfires wherever we are in free roam, just like we can in story mode, and come to think of it, I'm surprised we can't do this already. It seems like it'd be a really easy thing to implement, so thanks a lot for that suggestion. Champion suggested functional ammo belts, which we could wear that actually act as an expansion to our current ammo capacity. I think extending this to bandoliers that run across the chest would be quality too. That'd be like a fashion accessory, but an actual functional one. A little bit more useful than hats with giant feathers in them. Project Helisexuality, the most mental name so far, has suggested you changing your ability cards in showdown lobbies. This is another quality idea. You can already do it with your loadout, so I don't see why you couldn't be able to do this with your ability cards as well. Leveraged Investing has suggested being able to immediately consume food or drink that you find rather than putting it straight away. You can already do this with herbs. You either choose to pick or eat it, so I don't see why this would be off the cards for normal food and drink that you find around the map. Nobody Special, yes, that is the username, that's not just me slagging someone off, has suggested a few things, but the main quality of life thing is to be able to specifically choose your showdown series mode rather than getting chucked into a random mix of games. I like the idea, but I think it's something that I'd be concerned about, and to be fair, I think something that Rockstar is also concerned about is the amount of players you'd get to play each mode and how that would probably be quite low, so you might get quite a few empty lobbies. Good idea though, I do like it despite the potential issues with it, and I definitely would like to see it in the game. Pebsy has mentioned a few things, but my favourite point was to be able to see how many fish you've caught without actually having to put away your fishing rod. That sounds very convenient, so thanks a lot for that, Pebsy. Ramstein has come in with absolutely loads of suggestions, so thanks a lot for that, mate. The main one I like is selling wild horses. I'm not sure if this is something you could do in story mode of Red Dead 2, but it definitely was in Red Dead 1, so I'd love to see this come back. It would take a little bit more work though, as you need all the mechanics for breaking in the horse around the actual act of selling the horse itself. So I think this one might nudge a little bit more into a big game update than a minor quality of life one. The Rog has suggested being able to cancel skinning an animal halfway through the animation, which is a great suggestion. I'm sure we've all been in a situation in the past where you see a better animal or animals, or if you're about to get griefed and you've got to wait until you've actually skinned the animal completely and you're through the animation before you can actually react to what's going on around you. Really, really like that suggestion. I'm Loaf said he'd actually like to be able to save 5 custom outfits for his saddlebag that specifically says it has space for 5 outfits. I think that's a very reasonable request. Simon Yates has commented that he'd like to be able to save ability card builds and loadouts to quickly switch between them for different scenarios. This is one of my favourite ideas so far, and it sounds like it would almost be like changing classes on games like COD and Battlefield, so that is a great idea. Cheers for that, Simon. Tojo also suggested something similar, and he also suggested being able to clean your weapons in the Showdown series pre-match lobbies, which would be really convenient. DJC has come in and suggested customizable markers, which I think would be great. Marking tobacco on the map would be really handy when you're just wanting to make a load of dead eye tonics. If this was brought into the game, I can definitely see this one being used by glitchers who are just trying to find the 3-star cougar to duplicate a stable or wherever they might duplicate it. But for everyone, I think this would be a positive addition to the game, so thanks a lot for that, mate. A lot of your suggestions have actually been based around speeding the gameplay up in general, and I totally agree with all of you, and that's why I've included all your points in this video. But Blake has suggested that it's probably an intentional thing that's been done by Rockstar to slow us down when making money and XP, and I'd say this is probably true, but in the light of all the money glitches that have come out and the value of money in the game basically being reduced because of this, I think Rockstar sort of owe it to the people who spend their time grinding money out. There's people walking around now with 6-figure cash totals with nothing to spend it on. Speeding up the gameplay would definitely increase the amount of money that players can make per hour, and I think this would definitely be welcomed by everyone. Mohammed has suggested that I type out all the suggestions from you in the description so you can copy and paste them into the feedback form on the Rockstar feedback page. So you'll find everything I've discussed written out in the description. So if you want to see these changes made to the game, according to Rockstar themselves, this is the best way of getting in touch with them and giving them your suggestions. So use the feedback page. So if you do want to do this, then copy the text in the description and click the link to the page, write out a little introduction to the suggestions and submit it. I've done it myself, so let me know if you decide to as well. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more like this in the future. I know this is the first video that I've done in this style, so it'd be great to know if this is something that you'd like to see more of in the future. I read all the comments, so let me know. Also, if you want to know the fastest way of making XP as a solo player and also as a co-op group, then click the links on screen now. The one on the left is for solo players and the one on the right is for groups. I'm James Cookie. Cheers.